Have you ever questioned the nature of reality? That feeling deep inside you, the one that whispers that something about this world isn't quite what it seems? What if you were right? What if everything you know, your memories, your past, even the choices you believe you've made, aren't as solid as you think? For decades, scientists have been uncovering something so profound, so reality-shattering, that most people refuse to believe it. But those who understand it, they begin to see the world differently. They start noticing the glitches, the strange coincidences, the feeling that time isn't moving the way it should. This isn't just a theory, it's real, and it's been hidden in plain sight. Quantum mechanics has revealed a terrifying truth. Reality is not fixed, it is not solid, it is not what we have been told. And the proof is in an experiment that changed everything, the double-slit experiment. It should have been simple. Scientists fired tiny particles at a barrier with two openings, expecting them to behave like bullets, moving through one slit or the other. But when no one was watching, these particles acted like waves, spreading out, interfering with themselves, moving in multiple directions at once, as if they existed in every possible place at the same time. But the moment they were observed, they snapped into a single reality, choosing just one path. Let that sink in. The mere act of watching changed the outcome. Reality, it seems, is not decided until it is observed. Which raises the question, if observation determines what is real, then who, or what, is observing you? This is where things get even stranger. Quantum entanglement. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance because it defies logic. Two particles, no matter how far apart, remain connected. If you change the state of one, the other changes instantly, even if they are light years away. It means that somewhere, somehow, these particles are communicating faster than the speed of light, as if space itself doesn't exist between them. And if that's true, then what does that say about you, about your connection to everything around you? Could your thoughts, your focus, even your emotions be entangled with reality itself? This is where science collides with something far older. Ancient teachings, mystical traditions, whispers from civilizations long past. They have all hinted at the same truth. The world is not solid. It is not external. It is a dream, a projection, a simulation of infinite possibilities, shifting in response to awareness. The deeper scientists dive into quantum mechanics, the more they realize what spiritual traditions have been saying for centuries. And then there's the many worlds interpretation. One of the most controversial yet widely accepted theories in quantum physics. It suggests that every choice, every decision, every moment creates a new universe. Right now, in this very moment, an infinite number of versions of you are branching off into different timelines. One where you took a different path. One where you made a different choice. One where you never watched this video at all. Think about that for a moment. If every choice creates a new reality, then what does that mean for the life you are living right now? Is this the only version? Or are you simply experiencing one strand of an infinite web? And if multiple versions of reality exist, is it possible to shift between them? Some believe the answer is yes. Throughout history, people have reported strange phenomena. Mandela effects, déjà vu, glitches in the matrix. People remembering things that supposedly never happened. Mass groups of individuals recalling alternate versions of events. Objects appearing and disappearing. Time seeming to stretch, loop, or shift unexpectedly. Science has tried to explain it away as tricks of memory. But what if it's something else? What if it's proof that reality isn't as stable as we think? Even time itself may not be what it seems. The block universe theory suggests that the past, present, and future all exist simultaneously, that time isn't a flowing river but a landscape where every moment is already laid out. If that's true, then could we be slipping between moments, experiencing fragments of different timelines? Could the future already be influencing the past? And here's the part that should make you question everything. If observation shapes reality, then who or what is observing this moment? Are we the creators, bending reality with our consciousness? Or are we being observed, existing only when something greater is watching? Some scientists, including those studying the simulation hypothesis, believe that reality itself is rendered only when it is being observed, just like a video game loading as you move through it. If reality is a program, then who wrote the code? Think about it. The patterns, the synchronicities, the way the universe seems to respond to thought and intention. Some people call it the law of attraction, manifestation, quantum consciousness. But what if it's all the same thing? A hidden mechanism within the fabric of reality, waiting for you to wake up and realize that you are not a passive observer. You are an active participant. Now, if all of this is true, if reality is fluid, if observation collapses possibility into form, if parallel worlds exist alongside ours, then that means one thing. You are more powerful than you have been told. Your mind, your focus, your awareness may be shaping reality in ways you never imagined. The question is, how do you use this knowledge? Ancient teachings tell us that belief is the key, that reality conforms to what you expect. If every decision creates a new world, then what happens when you consciously choose a different outcome? Some believe that shifting timelines, stepping into a different version of reality, is not just possible but something we are already doing all the time without realizing it. That the only difference between the life you are living and the life you desire is where you place your focus. If you expect struggle, you experience struggle. If you expect success, you experience success. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because your focus collapses reality into form. Quantum physics suggests that the universe is a field of probabilities, waiting to be shaped by the observer, and the observer is you. So what does this mean for your life? It means that the rules you thought were unbreakable, the limitations you thought were real, are nothing more than constructs. That every moment is a doorway to a different timeline, that every thought, every decision, every assumption you make is steering you into a version of reality that reflects it. And if you could master this, if you could truly control your focus, your awareness, your expectations, what kind of reality would you choose to step into? This isn't fantasy, this isn't fiction, this is the hidden nature of reality, something that science is only just beginning to understand, but something ancient wisdom has known all along. So let me ask you, if the universe is listening, if reality is waiting for your command, what will you choose next? The implications of this are staggering. If reality is not fixed, if consciousness plays a direct role in shaping the world around us, then the limits we thought existed are nothing more than illusions, constructs of the mind. Think about everything you've been told is impossible, the idea that you are stuck in your circumstances, that time moves in only one direction, that you have no control over what happens next. But what if these were just assumptions? What if the only thing keeping you in one version of reality is your belief in it? Quantum mechanics suggests that the universe is not a collection of fixed objects, but a field of infinite possibilities, a probability wave waiting to be collapsed into form by an observer, and that observer is you. This brings us back to the phenomenon of parallel realities. If every choice branches into a new world, then right now there exists a version of you living a completely different life, one where you made a different decision. One where you took a chance instead of hesitated, one where your fears never held you back. Some believe that we are constantly shifting between these realities, that the Mandela effect, the strange phenomenon where large groups of people recall alternate versions of events, is evidence of this. Could it be that we are unknowingly slipping between different timelines? Could it be that reality is not a single unchangeable path, but a network of endless possibilities, all existing? If this is true, then it means one thing: you are not stuck. Whatever situation you find yourself in, however impossible it may seem, there exists a version of you who has already overcome it, a version of you who has already succeeded, already changed, already stepped into the life you desire. So the question is, how do you become that version? Some believe the key lies in intentional awareness, that by focusing your mind, by choosing a new assumption, by stepping into the feeling of already being in the desired reality, you begin shifting toward it. This is not magic. This is not superstition. This is how quantum mechanics suggests reality works. Every thought you hold, every belief you reinforce, every expectation you set is collapsing the probability wave into a concrete outcome. Your attention is literally creating your reality, and the more you focus on something, the more real it becomes. Consider this. Have you ever had an experience where you started thinking about something and suddenly it began appearing everywhere? A song, a number, an idea. You see it over and over, as if the universe is echoing your thoughts back at you. Science calls this the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, or frequency illusion. But what if it's more than that? What if it's not just your brain noticing patterns, but reality responding to your focus? What if the things you expect, the things you assume, are literally being woven into your experience? This would explain why so many people feel stuck. They are repeating the same thoughts, the same doubts, the same limitations, reinforcing a version of reality they don't even want, and the universe, ever responsive, keeps reflecting it back to them. But the moment you break that cycle, the moment you assume something different, you begin stepping into a new timeline. Neville Goddard, one of the greatest metaphysical teachers of the 20th century, spoke of this when he said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and persist in that assumption until it hardens into fact." This is not wishful thinking, this is quantum reality in action. The more you assume something to be true, the more reality bends to match that assumption. So how do you shift? First, you must become aware of the reality you are currently reinforcing. What do you believe about your life, about yourself, about what is possible? Every single day, your thoughts are casting a vote for the version of reality you will experience. Next, you must deliberately assume a new truth. If there is a version of you who is already thriving, already successful, already free, then start living from that reality. Speak as they would speak, think as they would think, feel as they would feel. Not in the future, now. Because in a universe of infinite possibilities, the version of you that has everything you desire already exists. The only question is whether you will allow yourself to step into it. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Some scientists believe that time itself is an illusion, that the past, present, and future are not separate but exist simultaneously in a block universe. If this is true, then the future you, the one who has already achieved everything you desire, already exists right now. This means that your future self is not something distant, not something you have to chase. It is a reality that already exists, waiting for you to align with it. And if time is not linear, then it raises an even more shocking possibility, that the future can influence the past. This is known as retrocausality, the idea that events in the future can send ripples backward through time, shaping the present moment. Could this explain déjà vu? Could this explain prophetic dreams, synchronicities, and moments where you feel like something was always meant to happen? Could it be that your future self is already reaching out to you, guiding you toward the version of reality where you thrive? If this is true, then the most powerful thing you can do is begin listening. Pay attention to the signs, the patterns, the nudges from the universe. Because if reality is a shifting quantum field, then your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions are the compass directing you toward your desired timeline. So what are you choosing? Are you choosing to remain in the same loop, repeating the same story, reinforcing the same limitations? Or are you choosing to break free? Because the moment you decide, truly decide, that you are shifting, that you are stepping into a new version of yourself, the quantum field responds. This is why the greatest minds in history, Einstein, Tesla, Planck, have all hinted at the same thing. Reality is not what it seems. The world you experience is not solid. It is malleable. It is waiting for your command. And once you fully understand this, once you grasp that you are not just a spectator in this universe but a creator, everything changes. The simulation is listening. The multiverse is shifting. So the only question left is, which reality will you step into next? You were never meant to be powerless. The illusion of limitation was never real. It was a program, a deeply ingrained belief designed to keep you confined within a single version of reality. But now you see the cracks in the illusion. You understand that the world around you is not fixed. It is responding to you. So the question is, how do you take control? If quantum physics has shown us that observation shapes reality, that multiple possibilities exist at once, and that time itself is not as linear as we once believed, then that means you have far more power over your experience than you have been led to believe. It all begins with assumption. Think about the version of yourself you want to become. Maybe this version is more confident, wealthier, healthier, or more free. Maybe this version of you has already broken free from struggle and is living in complete alignment with the life you've always imagined. Now, instead of seeing this as a goal in the future, assume that it is already real. Not later, not someday, now. This is not delusion. This is the key to quantum reality. When you assume something as fact, when you embody it, when you live as though it is already true, reality begins to bend around that assumption. Neville Goddard, one of the greatest metaphysical thinkers of our time, called this living in the end. It means you no longer wait for proof. You no longer look for validation. You no longer operate from the mindset of trying to achieve something. You simply step into the knowing that it is already yours. Because here's the secret. The moment you fully assume something, the quantum field responds. This isn't just a spiritual idea. It's supported by quantum mechanics. The observer effect has already shown us that reality does not take shape until it is observed. It exists in an undefined state of potential until a consciousness interacts with it. You are the consciousness interacting with reality, and every single moment you are shaping it, whether you realize it or not. Think of your mind as a frequency tuner. If you keep focusing on limitations, on what's wrong, on what you don't have, you are tuning into a version of reality where those limitations exist. But if you shift your focus, if you begin seeing yourself as already successful, already powerful, already abundant, then you begin aligning with a version of reality where those things are true. Most people don't understand this. They look at their circumstances and assume they are real, fixed, unchangeable. They say, this is just the way things are. But that's an illusion. The only reason things remain the same is because they keep assuming they must. But the moment you change the assumption, the world must change with it. Reality has no choice. It is bound by the laws of the quantum field, and those laws state that consciousness shapes the experience. So how do you do this? How do you shift? It begins with something deceptively simple, your focus. What are you focusing on every day? What version of reality are you reinforcing with your thoughts, your emotions, your expectations? Because whether you realize it or not, you are constantly collapsing the wave function into form. So let's do an experiment. For the next 24 hours, assume that everything is working in your favor. Assume that you are in complete alignment with the best version of yourself. Assume that things are unfolding effortlessly, that opportunities are appearing, that the universe is bending to support you. And then watch what happens. Watch how reality begins to shift. Watch how small synchronicities start appearing. Watch how situations that once felt difficult begin to resolve themselves. Because the moment you change your assumption, the moment you step into a new frequency, the world has no choice but to match it. This is how reality shifts, not through force, not through struggle, but through awareness. And once you understand this, once you fully grasp that reality is responding to you, not the other way around, you will never see the world the same way again. The old rules no longer apply. The old limitations no longer hold. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not trapped in a single version of reality. You are the observer, the creator, the architect of your experience. And now you know the truth. The only question that remains is, what will you create next? You are standing at the edge of possibility. Right now, in this very moment, infinite realities stretch before you. Every potential version of your life, every version of yourself that you could ever become, already exists. The only thing separating you from that reality is you. Most people will hear this truth and dismiss it. They will continue living inside the illusion, convinced that reality is something happening to them rather than something happening through them. But not you. You have seen beyond the illusion. You have felt the truth. And now you must decide, because the moment you truly understand this, the moment you fully accept that your thoughts, your beliefs, your focus are actively shaping the world around you, everything changes. No more waiting, no more hoping, no more doubting. Reality is a quantum field of infinite potential, and your consciousness is the key that unlocks the version of life you desire. You don't need to force it, you don't need to chase it, you only need to assume it. Live as though it is already true. Think as the version of you who has already stepped into this new reality. Feel as though you have already arrived. And then, watch as the world bends to reflect your new state of being. This is not philosophy, this is not a hopeful idea, this is the fundamental nature of reality. So, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you step back into the old version of yourself, the one who believes they are at the mercy of fate, or will you step forward into a new reality, one that you consciously choose? Because reality is not solid, it is not fixed, it is responding to you, and if you have the courage to embrace this truth, you will never be the same again. The scientist who exposed this reality-shattering truth changed the world forever. Now it's your turn. You are the observer, you are the creator. So tell me, which version of reality will you choose next?